What do you mean by gut health?
Gut health is about 70 to 80% of the immunity is in our.
How does gut health influence mood, or does it affect anxiety or decision making?
If serotonin goes out of whack, it starts disturbing you, your moods, your anxiety levels go up.
Give us some quick examples of foods that boost serotonin.
The correct approach is not a particular food for mood spiking. Fermented food kills.
Should you be eating differently in your 20s and 40s?
The youngsters have become so conscious about what they are eating.
Maitri, another trending topic which is there everywhere. You have all these online, I'm sure this person's uses Ozempic.
While you are dropping weight on Ozempic, if you have been so heavy, and while you're dropping weight on Ozempic, start incorporating healthy practices like
My earlier podcast, Weight Loss Over 40, was just the beginning of the conversation. Today, the wellness world is talking about things which are much bigger: gut health, metabolism, hormones, and the science of longevity. Is your gut health really controlling everything, right from your weight to your moods? Are things like fiber hacks and supplements actually helping us, or are they just confusing us? And with weight loss drugs like Ozempic entering the conversation, is lifestyle becoming secondary to medication? In today's conversation, we are diving deep into some of the biggest health trends right now. We're going to talk about the truth about gut health, about fiber, about metabolism, and why people struggle to lose weight or even maintain that weight loss even when they seem to be doing everything right. If you've ever wondered what is the real truth behind all the trending and buzz talk that you see online, then this podcast is definitely for you. To help us unpack all of this, I'm joined today by Nutritionist and Wellness Coach Maitri Ramaiya. Maitri works with clients across the globe to help them in sustainable weight loss and lifestyle changes that really make an impact. Today's conversation is also brought to you by Arkka Oils, which is a premium cold-pressed oil brand which is well known for its purity and freshness. But before we start, may I please quickly request you to hit the subscribe button so that me and my team are motivated, and we promise to keep getting you more such good content which will enable you to become the very best version of yourself. And now, over to Maitri. Hi Maitri, how are you?
Hi Sampada, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for being here.
I'm excited again.
Yeah, our earlier podcast was, more about the basics, I would say, of not just weight loss, even of health.
Yes.
And now we're going to go much further. I've picked out trending topics, and I'm going to pick your brain on that.
Absolutely, looking forward.
So, first things first, we spoke about gut health in the introduction, right?
Right.
Is it really a thing, or is it just a buzzword? What is the real answer here?
The good news is that people are now discovering that gut health is actually making, or rather taking care of gut health is actually bringing about those minute changes which they have been grappling with for a long period of time, trying to take medication for it, trying diverse ways of resolving their health issues. And when they are able to move their focus to the gut microbiome, they're actually seeing substantial changes and long-term difference in their health.
Okay. So, a basic question, right? Just break this down for us. What do you mean by gut health? And what are the microbiomes that we keep hearing about?
So, gut health is your digestive tract. The only connection we have to the outside world is through our food, right?
Correct.
Or the air we breathe.
Right.
And depending on what you're going to insert or inject into your belly is what is going to decide the functioning of practically everything, right from your brain to your heart to your kidneys to your mental health to your emotional health. Everything is connected to what you are pumping into your system.
Okay.
This is what we mean by gut health.
Okay.
About 70 to 80% of the immunity is in our gut, because the microbiome is a source of vitamins, bacteria, fungi, trillions of them.
Okay.
And taking care of your gut health is going to start impacting your health in numerous ways.
If you have to talk about the basics of gut health, is it about fixing microbiomes rather than counting your calories? Is that traditional method of thinking out of the window?
So, counting calories is a great idea. However, if your gut health is not fixed, if your microbiome is not functional, then your hormones are working against you as against with you. So, the primary reason for calorie counting is obviously weight loss in the correct way.
Okay.
But if your gut health is not intact, the body will be actually absorbing more calories from the same food as against what it would if your gut health was intact.
Just an off topic question. Are Indians sort of not, we keep hearing about the fact that we consume a lot of dairy, right? Dairy and tea and coffee. That is one of the, if I can call it, bad habits of Indians. So are we more susceptible, or is our gut health not as good as it should be if we talk about Indians as a nation?
The gut health is also impacted genetically. So basis what our ancestors have been infusing into their body, and their cellular growth has been happening based on what they have eaten, those genes pass down over
Ah,
to,
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
over their descendants, over the genes.
Right.
However, the same thing that created the problem, that is them eating inappropriate food,
Hmm.
is the same situation which can be changed by more information and the generation today. So today, if they start eating correctly, if they start exercising, if they start taking care of their gut health, if they infuse the correct nutrients at the correct time in their body, they can change the health and the genetics of the upcoming generations.
All right. Nice. Nice. It's good to hear that there
Hope.
is a way out of it. So, how does gut health influence mood, or does it affect anxiety or decision making? What emotional impact does it have, or mental impact?
Sampada, it's very interesting to understand
Hmm.
that 95% of your serotonin is a feel good hormone.
Hmm.
If serotonin goes out of whack,
Hmm.
it starts disturbing you, your moods, your anxiety levels go up, uh, depression sets in. In fact, a lot of depression patients are put on higher doses of serotonin purely to increase that hormone so that their feel good factor starts increasing. Now imagine if we were actually eating correctly, because 95% of your serotonin is in your gut. You wouldn't need medication, and you wouldn't be going through issues like depression or mood swings or anxieties.
Give us some quick examples now that you're here. I can't resist asking you. Give us some quick examples of foods that boost serotonin. Like, I know they talk about, okay, when you're on your periods, dark chocolate helps, and I have actually experienced that. So, give us some examples of food that might help.
So the correct approach is not a particular food for mood spiking. The correct approach is eating the correct diet over a period of time so that the collapse in mood just does not happen.
Mhm.
However, like you correctly mentioned, the collapses will happen with women.
Hmm.
But again, if you are on the correct diet over a period of time, you patch up for that collapse. You patch up for those mood swings, and you drop or reduce the impact of anxiety and mood swings if your diet is correctly in order. Otherwise, all you're doing is firefighting and blotching solutions momentarily, and then you're back to the same grind again. And then again, when you get your periods, again you'll be blotching solutions
Yeah.
and patching it up.
So there is some truth to what our grandmothers used to advise us about having leafy vegetables, because women tend to go low on iron. So there is some truth there, right?
Yes, absolutely. The interesting part about what has been historically advised by our grandmothers
Hmm.
is, including me,
Hmm.
this generation today is a very curious generation. Okay, why should I have green leafy vegetables? You need to have
Hmm.
green. Why should I have that?
Hmm. Hmm. They
So
question everything.
they question everything, and if you don't have answers, then they're not okay with that.
Right.
And this is exactly what used to happen when I was younger, and I was advised to have, you have to finish your bowl of dal. We come from a vegetarian family. I turned vegetarian a little later, but vegetarian, you have to have your finish your bowl of dal. My dad would literally stand on my head and stuff spoonfuls of dal in our mouth till we finish the whole bowl, yeah?
Huh.
And I would be like, why am I having dal? My father told me to have dal, so you have to also have dal. So this was their justification. While the advice was correct, but there was no justification to it, which made it difficult for the next generation to absorb it, considering how curious they were, and they wouldn't do
Right.
things without being. If
Right.
they didn't get the answer, why? So, what you said is correct. Yes, there are a lot of things that were historically, ancestrally, correctly planned, right from the green leafy vegetables to the pickles. You know, pickle works as an excellent anti inflammatory,
Really?
really.
Huh.
And fermented foods,
Huh.
idli, dosa,
Huh.
all these things that you have first thing in the morning. Majority of, I think 80% of India has South Indian food
Hmm.
first thing in the morning, even if they're from the north or even if they're from the, most of them are having South Indian food. And this is one of the most beautiful things because uh, fermented food kills the anti-nutrients in your gut and makes the nutrients more bioavailable for use in the body.
Okay, nice, nice. So that's the logic behind fermented foods.
Yes.
So does that apply to other things like kombucha and those the
Kombucha, sauerkraut,
yeah.
um, pickles again.
Hmm.
All
Curd?
these, yeah, all
Curd.
these are excellent contributors to the prebiotic gut health.
So if someone has, so let's say if someone has bloating or weight gain, or fatigue, could it actually be related to gut health rather than something else? Is that possible?
I'm so happy, Sampada, you touched upon this because um, anything, any issue related to your digestive tract, be it bloating, be it constipation, gases, acidity, anything that's related to your belly, to your stomach, to your digestion, to your gut, is a direct indication of inflammation.
Okay.
It can only be resolved with the correct food. Inflammation, as I started, um, I mentioned in the beginning that your only connect to the outside world is A, the breath, the air you breathe, and B, the food you eat. Yeah.
Hmm.
The food you eat is what's going to build or destroy this particular home that you are living in for whatever number
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
years
Hmm.
you are on this earth.
Hmm.
What inflammation does is it coats the intestine with toxins. So you do know that the food is not digested from the stomach. It is only churned in the stomach. It is mashed into pieces and then it is pushed into the small intestine to be absorbed by the body so that it can reach the correct organs for
Okay.
use. The correct nutrients reach the correct organs. So let's say you've had an excellent diet, you had the correct quantity of protein, fat, carbohydrates. It got churned in the stomach, it got pushed into the intestine, but the intestine is coated with inflammation.
Hmm.
Your question should also be I'm sure the audience would also like to know that where does this inflammation come from?
Yes.
When
Yes.
you're eating all the
Absolutely.
right foods, why is there inflammation? So, there are two major things that lead to inflammation. One is it happens within yourself internally as you are aging.
Hmm.
So, the drop, especially for women, the drop in estrogen increases your insulin resistance. When your insulin resistance increases, you do know that the rise in insulin and fat are indirectly proportionate. When insulin rises, fat burning stops. So, with the increase in insulin, your fat burning will stop, and that's the reason why menopausing women tend to, the body is getting geared up to gain fat, to
Hmm.
patch up, to increase the levels of fat. However, and the increase in fat also leads to inflammation.
Hmm.
Now, the other thing that leads to inflammation, you will be surprised. There is, so a lot of people are like, okay, I'd like to avoid inflammation. How can I do that? It's not possible because the air you breathe has inflammation. Uh, going back to a point you made earlier, that was it what our grandmothers were advising, was that correct? So earlier you were not permitted, I mean still some households follow that, you're not allowed to enter the house with your footwear on, you have to
Hmm.
leave it out at the door. Do you
Hmm.
know why? Because your footwear picks up bacteria and germs from everywhere,
Yes. Yes.
and then it is all over the house.
Hmm.
And you will be surprised that when you place your, so you've worn, let's say you worn your footwear all over the house, okay, so that those bacteria all, When you place your bare foot on that floor, those bacteria get absorbed. That is also
Okay.
inflammation.
Okay.
Animals, you see, a lot of families have been very that you should not keep pets at home.
Hmm.
They are bad, and they do, and there are a bunch of people who are like, oh my god, this is love. How could you say no to all of?
Hmm.
But when it comes to, I myself have 4 cats,
Hmm.
but when it comes to inflammation, um, a lot of the
Bacteria.
yeah
Bacteria.
the animals throw out a lot of bacteria in the air, which goes into your system, which leads to inflammation. Generally, also in the air, the industrial release of all the gases and the chemicals which we are breathing, the increase in industries, the increase in development is once again throwing out a lot of chemicals which we are breathing in, and that's also increasing our inflammation. Our body also has a tendency of creating metals which will increase inflammation.
Okay.
Now, the only way to battle this whole thing, there is only one way, there is only one warrior that can do it, and that is your gut. So if you are eating,
Okay.
inflammation is going to continue to happen. There is no stopping that.
Huh.
The only thing you can do is continue to keep treating it. There is no one time solution. So you have to keep eating healthy foods over a period of time to make sure that the inflammation doesn't land up damaging you, leading you to lifetime diseases like heart diseases, diabetes, dementia, which are age related diseases, sarcopenia, which is muscle loss, age related.
Hmm.
So, this is what we need to do to battle the inflammation.
Okay.
So now, where is inflammation? Where is it in the body, and what is actually happening? What is in the literal sense, what is happening? So the toxins coat the inner lining of your intestine.
Hmm.
I just told you that the food gets absorbed from the intestine. So
Hmm.
the intestine has blood vessels around it. After you eat, after the food from the stomach is churned and ingested into the intestine, the blood vessels around start absorbing the nutrients and sending them to the required organs.
Right.
Now, with all these things that I told you that would lead to inflammation, inflammation coats the inner lining of the intestine. So even if you are eating healthy food, all you are doing is eating healthy, dumping healthy, eating healthy, dumping
Oh,
healthy. Because when the blood vessels come around to wanting to absorb the nutrients,
there isn't.
the first thing that they will face is the toxins on the lining. So they
Right.
absorb the toxins. They don't land up
Right.
reaching the healthy food inside the intestine.
Okay.
So then these toxins are rotating all across in the body, leading to the disastrous effects, after effects of inflammation in your gut. This is why you need to treat the inflammation in your gut.
Wow, that was a really good explanation. We've now got the base of our whole conversation. There's one natural question that came out of what you said. We spoke about bacteria that animals carry, which leads me to assume that non-vegetarians obviously consume more bacteria or are more prone to, I guess, inflammation than vegetarians. Would you consider that the case?
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of times, when people come diagnosed with inflammation and wanting to rid their inflammation, the first thing they are put off is non vegetarian food.
Okay.
While non-veg is very good for muscle building, I am a
Hmm.
big promoter of muscle building.
Hmm.
So, while I'm a vegetarian, rather vegetarian myself, um, if I have clients who are non-vegetarians, I encourage them to continue. But even non-veg, with its high quantity of protein, see, nothing is good forever.
Hmm.
Everything has two sides. Every coin has two sides to it.
Hmm.
So a certain period of eating high protein non-vegetarian food to build your muscle tissue, to build your strength, excellent. Then you have to take a break and detox your body and remove all the bacteria and the inflammation that has been created by the same protein.
Ah.
And then when your body is clean again, once again start. Because if you just continue over and over and over without detoxifying your body, all that is going to happen is the absorption will halt. So then no longer are you absorbing the good nutrients from the non-vegetarian food or the high protein food, because there are huge blockages with the inflammation in your body. So you need to regularly keep taking breaks. What is good is also bad. You just need to be able to, you have to time it correctly, that this is okay, certain period, then take a break, again start. So you have to keep rotating that.
So, Maitri, I want to ask you about some of the trending words I see right now, right? One of them I'm a big fan of myself, fiber maxing. Now, I eat a lot of salad, so I'm okay with that. But is that actually healthy? Is that actually required? Or is that just another buzzword?
Sampada, you can so totally have your salad, but if you think your salad is contributing or a huge contributory to your fiber, you are immensely mistaken.
Okay.
Cucumber and tomato land at the lowest rung of your fiber, and I know that
Oh,
those are
no.
those are the most
Common. And spinach or arugula, whatever, yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
vegetables which people would have in their salad. Oh, look,
Yeah.
I had a salad. They cut
Yeah.
cucumbers and cut tomatoes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they are really low in fiber. Foods that are very high in fiber are chia seeds, avocados,
Hmm.
the skin of the fruit, 80% fiber, which a lot of people remove.
Hmm.
Fiber is good. However, if you go above 50 grams of fiber, you are actually damaging your body more than benefiting from the fiber. So, whenever you are trying to increase your fiber, increase in fiber is very good
Hmm.
for the feeling of satiation, for improved digestion. But 25 to 30 gram is the correct quantity. And if you are intending to increase for whatever medical reasons, you have to also increase the intake of water along with it. Otherwise, you will
Okay.
lead to a lot of issues like dehydration, constipation, purely with the over increase of fiber. So again, coming back to my point, every coin has two sides to it. You just
Right.
need to know how much of it to balance at what given point of time. So 25 to 30 gram is a good idea for fiber.
There's another trending topic. In fact, all the billionaires are even chasing after this longevity, right? Not just the billionaires in the US, the ones in India as well, which actually seems to be a good trend that you want to live a better quality life, not just necessarily longer. So, what do you feel about that, and what do you feel can help us achieve that?
What you said is correct, Sampada, that not only do we want to live long, now no longer is the ranking, oh, I lived 70 years, oh, wow, I lived 80 years, oh, wow, I lived 90 years.
The
It
quality.
doesn't matter. Now it's more like, I lived the last 20 years in a very quality manner.
Hmm.
This is
Hmm.
what has become
Correct.
important.
Correct.
Longevity means you do live long, but you live a quality life, not a
Yes.
dilapidated life.
Correct.
I mean, nobody wants to pull the last 20, 25 years being bedridden, where they're constantly being helped to be taken to the washroom or be bathed.
Hmm.
Coming back to first we start with what are the probable issues of aging,
Hmm.
and how can focusing on longevity through gut health eradicate those issues. So, old age issues are largely dementia, heart problems, diabetes.
Hmm.
When you start eating the correct food, again, see, in your 20s, you're more, the body is in a far
You're more
better
careless.
place, you're
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
reckless.
Mm.
And by your 40s, if you're not going to be taking care of what you're eating, you are very quickly attracting, even sarcopenia, very quickly attracting the seeds of diabetes, of cancer, of heart diseases, of dementia, which are the age, sarcopenia, which is muscle loss,
Hmm.
into your system. So, eating correctly and exercising, very important. Another part I'd like to mention about longevity, considering I am so much into I believe and I push so much of muscle gain.
Hmm.
The reason I also do that is because in India, we are still very low in terms of our awareness of muscle. But overseas, a lot of this has gone overboard. In fact, some segments of India also, the the concept that muscle is equal to healthy has gone overboard. Let me elaborate on that.
Right.
So, uh, and this is in connection with longevity. So, no longer are people wanting to, pack on, if you have excess muscle,
Hmm.
it stops your mobility.
Hmm.
High muscle is on one end of the pole,
Spectrum. Huh?
and the other end is mobility, flexibility.
Hmm.
Higher the muscle, lower the flexibility.
Yes.
Higher the flexibility, like you will see yoga
Huh.
followers are
Huh.
very flexible, but their
Huh.
muscle mass is very low.
Yes.
And then you will see people who have put on a lot of muscle
Huh.
are very low on their flexibility. They walk, they're very,
Yeah,
very, they
yeah.
can't even touch their
Sometimes they're
hand.
quite
Yeah.
stiff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Longevity means being able to be functional in the last years of your life, being on your own feet, and not developing diseases which will cause you to be dependent on other people or dependent on medicines. Even medicines don't work if you're not having the right diet. Medicines also need the correct nutrition in your gut to be able to be absorbed and give the positive effects of the medicine. So if you're
Okay.
just pumping in medicines and not having the correct diet, thinking that that's it, it's not going to give you results.
All right. So that logically leads me to question that should you be eating differently in your 20s and 40s? And if you have, let's say, children in the house or parents in the house, what is the different diet you should be giving them
Very
with
good
all of
question. I'm
this?
so happy you asked that. Yes, you should absolutely be eating differently in your 20s and your 40s. In your 40s, you should be taking care of a lot of, like I said, by 40s, the inflammation starts surfacing of
Hmm.
all the bacteria that you have absorbed.
Hmm.
Focus on omega 3,
Hmm.
calcium,
Hmm.
vitamin D becomes important in your 40s to keep inflammation at bay. The good news is, now Sampada, because of podcasts like yours and so much information and awareness, the youngsters have become so conscious about what they
Hmm.
are eating. There's been an article about how the alcohol sales have dropped because the Gen Zs have chosen to not consume alcohol, considering how badly it's impacting their body.
Yes, yes.
Even when I go to gym, Sampada,
Huh.
uh, majority of the people who are working out there are between 16 to 22, 23, and it is so fantastic to observe that they are taking charge of their life. They are
Right.
using the information that podcasts like yours are passing on, or other information available on the internet. They're concerned about their health. They're realizing and they're doing something about it. So I
Nice.
think that has been an excellent observation, which
Nice.
was not the case earlier. Earlier, the guys, people in the 20s, drugs, smoke, late night parties.
Not anymore, it
Not
seems.
anymore. They were sleeping on time, waking up on time, coming to gym early, eating the correct food.
Hmm.
It's amazing.
So Maitri, another trending topic which is there everywhere, you have all these online, oh my, I'm sure this person's uses Ozempic. So what is your view on drugs like this? What is the impact? Firstly, okay, couple of questions. Firstly, do they work? Secondly, what is the impact if they do work? And thirdly, would you ever recommend them?
Sampada, I'm happy we are addressing this topic because it's so popular right now,
Mm-mm.
and there's information flowing from different places. So I'm happy to be able to give the nutritional perspective, and I'm very practical when it comes to this. I'm not holding any judgment pro or against the drugs, but let me tell you what happens in a practical scenario. So you see, I have a lot of clients who come to me, a lot of people who are exceptionally overweight, like 165 kilos, 175 kilos, 155 kilos. Uh, from that place, to put them onto, it's absolutely impossible for them to exercise at that time because they'll end up damaging their knee or their hip bone or some other issue because they have so much weight, it's now bogging down the joints as well.
Hmm.
So they need to drop weight with nutrition. But nutritionally dropping weight without exercise at that high a weight is a task. It is going to be exceptionally time consuming. And if you are not strong in the mind, which most people are not with that kind of weight, uh, you will give up very fast. So, in such a situation, having or consuming a drug, a semaglutide or an Ozempic, which contributes to a quick weight loss, and it's actually, they have been made for really heavy people with comorbidities. So, if you have
Oh,
diabetes or thyroid or something,
okay.
uh, it will give you a very good result. It'll at least bring you down to about 190 or 80 kilos. After that, again, you will need to get on to nutrition and proper exercise to be able to get to come to a normal and ideal weight and to be able to sustain.
Hmm.
So, one of the drawbacks of these, uh, rather, two drawbacks of these drugs are: one, it leads to immense muscle loss. So, if you are not doing anything to combat that,
Hmm.
then you would actually land up reducing your metabolism, because metabolism and muscle are directly proportionate. Lower the muscle, lower the metabolism, higher the muscle, higher the metabolism. Uh, a correct thing to do would be, while you are dropping weight on Ozempic, if you have been so heavy, and while you're dropping weight on Ozempic, start incorporating healthy practices like gymming and correct nutrition along with it, so that when you stop the drug, you don't land up bouncing back in terms of the weight, and you also hold on to muscle and start building. So, it's a smooth transition from a drug into an actually healthy, natural lifestyle. That's why you do that along with the drug.
Okay, so does that mean you would recommend Ozempic or any drug like
I
that?
would recommend
You would.
Ozempic to people who are extremely heavy, above 140, 150 kilos. Yes, they should go on to Ozempic, come closer to their ideal body weight, and then, but getting onto a healthy lifestyle is also very important, because if they come closer to their ideal body weight at 80, 90 kilos and they drop the drug, but they are not trained to follow a healthy lifestyle like exercising and eating correctly, they are just going to land up doing more damages, because as it is, this drug has reduced their muscle tissue. And over and above, if they don't incorporate healthy practices of improving their muscle tissue in eating the correct diet, they're just damaging and worsening their muscle tissue. They're hastening the start of sarcopenia, which is an age-related muscle loss.
I think that's a good thing you clear up for me and for the viewers, because I was under the, people are talking about Ozempic almost like a lifestyle drug. I did not realize it was meant largely for people who are excessively overweight, not for someone if you're 10, 20, 10, 10, 12 kgs overweight, you have it and it's a quick fix. It's not a quick fix. That's
You
what you're
will not
clarifying.
see a result. You might not see as good a result as you're expecting. You might not, mostly not. However, something that this drug does is curb your hunger pangs. So if someone is maybe 10 kilos, 15 kilos plus, and the problem they are having is incapability of curbing their hunger pangs, in which case this drug is very good, even if you're 10, 15 kilos plus.
All right.
Another, a very beautiful thing this drug does is activate insulin sensitivity.
Okay.
So I deal with a lot of women 40 plus, and majority of the times they're doing all the correct things. They are eating right, they're working out, they're doing enough cardio, but they are going on packing weight in their midsection. This is the normal behavior of a perimenopausing lady. You start packing fat on your midsection. And this is because of insulin resistance, because the estrogen is not getting wiped out. It is not getting thrown out of the system. It is recycling back.
Okay.
And because of the hormonal fluctuations. And when your estrogen doesn't clean out, it leads to more insulin resistance. And increase in insulin resistance leads to you packing fat around your around the center of your body, for a woman especially. Now, what does this drug do? This drug actually even makes insulin sensitive. So you can actually start dissolving a lot of the fat around your waist. So like a lot of women now are 40 plus are also into heavyweight training and cardio and good nutrition, good diet, but this is also very interesting that your diet and your exercise will have zero effect on you if your insulin is resistant. In which case, this drug is a wonder drug, because what it actually does is it makes your insulin sensitive. And now if you're going to exercise and you're going to diet, it's going to give you results because your insulin has now become sensitive.
So there's no one size fits all. You can't just paint it as, okay, it's not good for you or it's good for you. It depends upon what your body condition or what your needs might be.
Yes.
Right? We also have all these, things you can just buy over the counter, gut cleanses and wellness juices and things like that. Are they really required? Are they beneficial? Or is it more of a simpler answer that you can just fix it at home? What is your take on that?
You see, this machine, this body is self-sufficient.
Okay.
Whenever you will get a disease, first time you will be hit. But in the first time, the body will create antibodies against that disease. So in the future, when you're hit with the disease again, you will not collapse the way you collapsed the first time. Same thing with gut cleanse juices, detox juices. The body is completely capable of doing it on its own. These things are not really contributing. Uh, which is why we say that, eat your meal at 6 o'clock, because the liver is detoxifying between 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. And if you are going to eat at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. in the night, our body is also very strongly connected to the sun, to the circadian rhythm. That is why the concept of circadian rhythm came into the picture. That we how do we function vis-a-vis the
Cycle of the sun.
cycle of the sun. So, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., the liver is detoxifying. So, if you're going to eat at 9 p.m., you're just giving your body 1 hour for the liver, 1 hour for digestion. And it's not going to digest so fast. So, it's going to keep digesting till 12 o'clock, and then it gets only 2 hours to detoxify.
Okay.
So, the problem of the body not being detoxed or incapable of detoxifying or pent up toxins is not the solution does not lie in juices. The solution lies in following the circadian rhythm, in eating early, so that you give your liver the correct time to detoxify when it is scheduled in the night.
All right. Lovely. I think that was a very clear answer. I think, which even I didn't know about actually. And now that we've had a really good conversation and I've got a lot of my own questions answered about gut health, I want to ask you one sort of advice that if I have to start tomorrow and do 3 things for my gut health that I can do easily, what would you recommend?
I'm so happy again, Sampada, you asked me this because, quick tips go down really well. So the
Hmm.
3 things.
Hmm.
First thing, incorporate 30 plant foods in your diet in a week. 30.
Hmm.
And plant foods would be seeds, fruits, vegetables.
Hmm.
All these are plant foods.
Okay.
Tip number 2 is to do a short walk after your heavy meal. So, probably post lunch, post dinner, just walk around in your house. It's going to make a huge difference in terms of improving your gut health.
Hmm.
And the third thing, I connect back to what you started, saying that, we are so high on caffeine. All of us are pretty addicted to caffeine and kind of rely on caffeine, and caffeine is kind of a snack. और कुछ करना नहीं है, call for chai. That kind of a thing. So anyway, coming back to the third tip, glass of water first to clean out the toxins and then caffeine in the morning. Follow these 3 things and you will start seeing an immediate change in your gut health and reduction in inflammation to start with.
I'm going to start these right from tomorrow and I'm going to call you and tell you that, okay, Maitri, it's working
I'll be
for me.
so happy. I'll be so happy, Sampada.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Maitri, for being here. And we kind of just made full use of your time. We were like, okay, this question, okay, Ozempic also, this also. So thank you so much for being here and for answering a lot
My
of
pleasure.
my questions. And, we had taken in a lot of questions from the viewers. So thank you for answering that.
Thank you so much.
And we have a small gift for you from one of our sponsors. So this is
That's so sweet. Thank you so much.
this is
Thank
from Arkka
you.
Oils.
Thank you.
I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation with Maitri. We tried to get her to answer as much of your questions as possible. And a lot of my own questions about gut health specifically were answered. And stay tuned because we are going to be having lots more interesting content for you guys in the future. And if you haven't done so already, please quickly hit the subscribe button. Thank you. See you all next week. Bye.